Hey everyone, in this second video, we're going to be taking a look at how this class will actually work. So in the last video, we went over why we'll be using the modern classroom approach and what the modern classroom approach is. And in this video, I will show you the structure of our lessons in a modern classroom unit. So how do we go about accessing our content? So all videos will be in Canvas under the correct module, unit, and lesson. So for example, if we're on Unit 4, Lesson 5, it will look like this, 4.5. First number indicates the unit. Second number indicates the lesson. We are going to have a digital public pacing tracker, and we'll take a look at what that looks like. Also, you will receive a personal paper agenda, so you can start marking off things as you go. And then at the end of each of these lessons, you'll have a SWIC. Remember, it just means show what you know. And then finally, we'll have that unit test. All paper materials will be in the back black hanging folder. So if you take a look over here, what you'll see is that eventually we'll have folders in each of these little pockets. And usually it'll say like 1.2 or 1.4, indicating Unit 1, Lesson number 4. Just have to make sure that you take a look at the right number. So here's an example of what our pacing tracker will actually look like. So you can see that there's a bunch of names and lessons. And the one thing that you need to be aware of is this right here. So if we take a look, blue indicates behind pace. This orangish color looks, or maybe it's yellow, indicates on pace. If your name is in green, that is that you are accelerated, that you are actually ahead of where you need to be. And if you see anybody's name in red, that just means that they are revising their SWIC. So this is somebody who went ahead and attempted to move on to the next lesson, but maybe just need to make a couple corrections on that SWIC before moving on. If we zoom back out, you can see the target lesson for this example was 6.5. You'll see announcements right here. So if there's anything that we need to put, for example, this said you should be finishing your Supreme Court case PowerPoint and then working on your final exam study guide. So you can see here that in just this snapshot, you had a bunch of people all over the place. You can see that Jaden was behind pace. You can see that these students right here were on pace. And then you can see that there was, in this example, nobody accelerated. So the thing is, this is really a great way if that you are struggling, say, on a particular lesson, you can see in the class who is where, and this can help you maybe say, you know what, if I was Alyssa, you know what, I might need help, so I'm going to go to somebody who might already be ahead. They can help me move on. That doesn't mean give you answers, but just say, you know what, I'm struggling with this lesson, but how did you master it? What did you do? What am I not getting? So this is a great way to really just get a quick snapshot of where everybody is. And once again, this is going to be updated daily, and this is not going to be during class time, okay? So accessing supplies can be found on the counter on the side of the room. You can see that we have a ton of supplies. So if there's anything that says please return, so for example, pencils and pens, if you need one, just go ahead and take it. Colored pencils, you are more than welcome to use that during class, but please go ahead and return those because I need those to stay in my room. So things like crayons, rulers, expo markers, and then you also have things like highlighters. So please make sure that you do return those. Once again, they are free to use. Pencils and pens, paper down here you guys can keep, but make sure that if it does say please return that you do go ahead and return those. Also, the headphones will be next to this little supply area as well. Once again, those headphones need to be returned at the end of class, but you're free and able to use those during class. So finding and submitting work. So each lesson will have 3 to 4 parts, depending on the lesson, and maybe sometimes, more. Video and guided notes. So there will be video notes and guided notes. You're going to watch a video, usually an Edpuzzle, and fill in the notes along the way. And then And then after that, usually you'll have an activity, whether it's primary source activity, breaking down different articles, map work, things like that. And then there should be some should do's, and then possibly an aspire to do assignment. At the end of that lesson, you'll take that SWIC that shows me that you need at least 80% to move on and that you're good to go, and you got a basic understanding. This silver tray over here, which is on the counter, this says not graded yet. So I do not have a first hour. That is my plan. So if you are in second hour, you're going to put your papers in the top silver tray. If you're in third hour, you're going to be there, fourth hour, fifth hour, and sixth hour. So just make sure that you're taking a look at these little tabs right here because it'll show you what class it is. But just make sure that we are turning it in the right way and in the right class so we don't lose any papers. So let's go ahead and talk about self-pacing. So during the unit, each of you will be given an individual paper agenda like we talked about earlier, and this is just for you to stay on track. And I will also share that public class tracker during the class so you can see where everybody is and you can go ahead and ask your classmates for help. And also that class tracker will show where you should be. So if you're working on pace, then you will be a particular color like we mentioned earlier. And like I said, also the pacing tracker will be updated daily, not during class. I had a lot of students last year who said, oh, I just passed this this mastery check, is what I called them last year, and now I need to be a different color. So I'm going to be helping you guys during class, so I'm not going to have time to actually do that. But at the end of each day, I'll get everything graded, and then that will be updated by the time you come in next time. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about grading. So I do grade based on mastery, and so what does that mean? You'll be given a grade based on mastery of the content. So as you guys are doing your different activities, this is what the rubric will look like. So remember, everything that you're giving me is a piece of evidence showing me how well you understand a particular topic. It does go from 10 all the way to 5, and a 10 out of 10, which is an A, is complete mastery. A 5 out of 10 is an F, and that means that you did not show any understanding of the material, or you just didn't attempt it. So the thing is, if you do see a 5 out of 10 in the grade book, that does not mean that you got 5 points. It does mean that you got the bottom of the barrel evidence here. So if you do want to go ahead and get that grade up, and let's just pretend that maybe you did go ahead and get a 6 out of 10, right off the bat. Well, it says you have not shown enough understanding of this topic and have made significant errors. If you see that, that should cue you to say, well, what errors did I make? Go ahead and talk to a classmate and say, can you look over my work? Is there anything that I'm missing? Review your notes, your videos, any previous assignments. The assessment is also incomplete. That would be a 6 out of 10. So there is no extra credit, but you can always redo it, and that 6 out of 10 might turn into an 8 out of 10, or a 9 out of 10, or even a 10 out of 10. And you can redo those assignments as many times as you need to. Also, those SWICs that we talked about, the show what you know, if you get, say, a 1 out of 5, you can always redo it. I'll leave you feedback, and then it can go up to a 3 out of 5, or maybe even a 4 out of 5. So you can always redo things. One grade is not final. You can even redo those unit tests that we talked about as well. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up. And if you are ahead, a should do assignment or activity, compare your guided notes with a friend. See if you left anything out. Maybe they wrote off some notes or anything that might be able to help you. Your aspire to do, make a video for your family explaining how the modern classroom will actually work and look in our classroom. Please make sure that you do complete the must do, because remember, those are assignments that you must do, and complete the SWIC for that lesson. Next, we're going to go over expectations for students and teacher in a modern classroom.